Trendy Show, my lovelies. It's another day, it's another dollar, and then it's another recap of Life After Lockup, my loves. It's on and popping. Let's start off on the first thing on the docket, which is Leticia and Keith. Man. These two done the nasty without Keith even bathing. They did this in the limousine. So he got the pokey smell, and they've been up in this limousine for an hour. All right. Then the next shot, we see them with some clothes on. They done slapped some clean clothes on without bathing and strutted out that limo like they were smelling fresh as daisies. All right. I'm like, talk about functified. Functified. Who's cleaning up that limo after that? And the limo driver, he kind of kindly shook their hand. I'm like, Leticia, you know, that's nasty. You should have rented out a hotel room for a couple of hours, okay? And then Uber over to the bus station. That's what you should have done, all right? It just gets so grimy. Now, Keith, you know, Dick and Leticia, they hop on this bus, and they talking about they crammed up there like sardines. And I'm like, I ain't the only things like sardines. Maybe some odors going on. But he makes his way, you know, up to the halfway house, up to a certain point, because the bus stops, and then they see all the family, and he hugging up on all the kids. I'm like, okay? Come on, Leticia, we got to do better than this, okay? In the meantime, if you don't know, my loves, I had posted a video. Leticia is in the pokey. Yes, my love, she's in the pokey. So you need to stay tuned with all the tea that I am pouring. But at the point of filming, she wasn't in the pokey, okay? That was filmed a while ago. Now, moving on. Next on the docket is Will and Courtney. Loves. Courtney is getting out of jail for the second time, all right? She's been in there for 2 weeks, and Will is driving from California to Oregon to pick her up. He's hoping that this interstate compact comes through so they can stay together in California. So as soon as he's saying all of this, he's talking to his friend, he gets a call, all right, from the authorities. And they say that that interstate compact is over because she has violated the conditions. So basically, they can't live together. So here we have Will worried about his relationship with Courtney. His heart is telling him to go get her. But his brain is telling him that it might not be the best thing for their relationship. Now it's the day of Courtney's release, and Will isn't there. So he listened to his brain, which is a very rare thing people do on this show. So once Courtney is released, she calls Will and asks where he is. He's in Sacramento. And she's like, what? He says he needs her to try to be sober, and he doesn't want to be enabling her. So she has her little friend on the side that's going to scoop her up, but she don't tell Will this right away. But when she does, he gets hot as fish grease. He demands to know whether this man's a sugar daddy. All she can say is he stepped up. You didn't come get me. And Will wants to know, where is she going to go? Where is she going to go with this man? To his bed? And she says no, but you know what? This man ain't going to be shelling out dough and picking you up for shits and giggles. It's just not going to happen. But she does tell this guy that she has to report to another halfway house. And this place is expecting rent. And she asks Will for it. And he's like, hell to the no. You can't be a crackhead on my watch and expect me to pay. And then Mark slides in there and says, he's got this. Don't worry about it. I got tons of, you know, some candy for you, Missy. Some GHB candy. And man, the slime that is oozing up, he's just so slimy. Now, she has to go back to the old halfway house to pick up her stuff because she was just kicked out. She couldn't gather her things. So she and this guy named Mark. He tells her, chill, he got her. Let's go back. And we also see that they flash forward back to Will. And Will is saying, I'm just practicing tough love. And we all see that Mark, in the meantime, is trying to take advantage of Courtney. She knows she's in distress. And he's telling her, don't stress. He got her. In fact, he thinks, this man, in his infinite wisdom, this is Mark talking, he thinks it's a good thing that the interstate compact was denied because they get to spend more time together. In the meantime, Courtney says she hates relying on men, but she's willing to do anything to get by. Anything. She's a hustler. And basically, she's a druggie. That's all. So she's gonna have to she's gonna have to hit rock bottom. And I don't know if she's hitting rock bottom just yet. Next on the docket is Bianca and Daniel, and this is just, I'm over them. They have already split up, but let's just talk about them. Daniel gets an email talking about, hey, dude, did you forget about that charge you had before you entered prison? Well, you got to show up tomorrow or you're going to be back in the pokey. It freaks Bianca out when he tells her that because she feels like he's irresponsible. And she probably is right. And she also feels that he's hiding something from her. And he took a little dabble of the liquor vibations, okay? The next day he rolls out to court. He doesn't say goodbye to her. And Bianca thinks he doesn't know how to communicate. It doesn't see how it's affecting her. And she liked it better when he was in the pokey. But her friend that she had next to her said, that's just a all jail talk. And men got a lot of time to talk in jail. So moving on to Hot Mess Express. Kiana and Demadrick. And should I say Joella too? All right. Now, Demadrick breaks it down to Kiana that she cannot go to his son's birthday party. And he's shocked that she's all in her feelings about this party. Because he said it's just a kid's party. And Kiana probably could have been invited if she didn't, revenge corn, the picture. All right. So, but Demadrick said he isn't going to miss his son's birthday party. He missed too many. And, he missed a big time, many years, and he's not compromising. And plus, Kiana, she didn't want Joella at her party. It wasn't even her party at the cookout. She didn't want her there. So I think it's all fair game. And I think Joella has a valid point. Don't show up. If you post my lingerie pictures out on the web, you can stay ghost. So anyway, Joella alludes that Demadrick comes crawling back to her. And she can get it when she wants it. And loves, that is not a flex. That's coming straight from the player's book, my love. Straight from the player's book. It's called Playing in Both of Y'all Faces. He's playing in Kiana, playing in Joella. All right? Now, if you said no, Joella, he wouldn't be crawling back if you lay down the line. But you keep your legs open as well as Kiana. All right? That's why he comes back and forth. He's not stressing any one of you. So we have Kiana with her work buddies, and they're telling her, Kiana, you need to be wary because one of them chicks are going to lose. And they advised her to talk to Joella. She was like, nope, not going to happen. Then the next second, she gets a call. But who was she talking to? She didn't answer that phone. Look at this picture, my loves. We see there's two circles, one to answer, one to decline. So it tells me that they probably reshot the scene, but I definitely believe that she did get a call. Then they reshoot the scene. She turns off her mic, and she probably calls back that person. And I know it's something Joella did, and we must stay tuned, my loves. I don't have any tea on that, but I just only can guess, and I want to give you the straight tea. Moving on to Justine and Mike, my loves. Mike asked Justine, can she compromise on the wedding? She says yes, but she doesn't want it to be, cheap. And then he asked her about investing money into a barbershop and let his homie run it, and they get a little cut every, so often. And she gets ticked off that all of these harebrained businesses come before them. And she doesn't want to take a back seat, and they get in a fight. She wants a wedding, a big, nice, flashy wedding where all of her kids get to attend. But newsflash, Justine, most kids don't get to see their parents' wedding, all right? They come after the wedding. So, but she's having a conniption. I mean, girl, you too spoiled. You got way too many kids to be wanting this big fabulous wedding. You need to bring income in at home. You need to get those kids cleaning that house. That house is filthy. And you need to get that situated, all right? That's what you need. Not a fancy wedding. Why you gonna have a fancy wedding and come home to a nasty home? So anyway, anyhow, they meet with his friend, Jay. And Jay, I don't know what the F he was wearing for TV. It looks ridiculous. It looks like a straight jacket. But I guess this man thought he was sharp. But anyway, Justine finds out that this barber shop will cost him not only $100,000, but their wedding. And she flips out because she's not about to be pushed back for another business venture. She's not going to have it, no matter how much slices. She said, I'll cut down from the 100, but no more, no less than 60. It's not going to work. You guys are supposed to be adults. Your wants do not come before the family needs. It just does not work that way, Justine. Moving on to, oh my God, JK and Brooke. They're on the docket. Now, Bonnie is this chick that Brooke is housing rent-free because this chick can't put some coins together to pay her half of the rent. So Brooke told this Bonnie chick that, hey, I lost my job. Don't tell JK. But you know what this chick is going to do. But in the meantime, she going to shoot this this text to JK. But in the meantime, in between time, he's meeting with his pappy. And his pappy looks a lot younger than JK. And he has teeth. And according to JK's dad, he worked a good job, but it took him away from his family. But he was a provider. So he was like, don't get it twisted. It wasn't like I abandoned you. I love you, blah, blah, blah. But still, JK is wondering, where was he when he was in prison? On the other hand, this dad of his is from the school of raise your kid and hope they do right. You know, you decided to go to the pokey, JK, multiple times. So JK receives a text from Bonnie. He finally gets this text that says Brooke isn't at work because she doesn't have a job. Meanwhile, we see Brooke up here cooking at JK's mama house, struggling with barbecue sauce and burger meat. And I don't know what it was supposed to be meatloaf. It looked pretty burnt, but I don't know. It struggled. The meatloaf struggled. But JK, he arrives with his own food and he doesn't want any of her slop. He drops the bomb that he knows she doesn't have a job. To him, it's about stability over having a job. He questioned why she is lying. They get into an argument. And, she throws back there like, well, if we split up, are you going to run to Alex? You want me to be like Alex? And what she needs to ask is, why did Bonnie betray her? This Bonnie chick showed no loyalty to the person who has a roof over her head. This Bonnie chick got 2 jobs and can't pay a red cent towards rent. I'm telling you that this Bonnie chick will be out of my house, and let's see if JK takes her in. So anyway, with all the B's words, he called her all types of bitches. He leaves. And then his mama tells Brooke, when is she got to go home to her effing kids? Okay, when are you going home to your children? Not really, but mama looks tired. She just tells Brooke that being dishonest is not the way to go. His mom says, go outside and talk to him. And Loves, this is when we find out the tea that Brooke has had 8 jobs in the last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, JK says that he hasn't had a job. She hasn't had a job for longer than a month. And mind you, she left the last job chasing after some prison peen. I'm like, woman, you have a household to support. Why are you chasing after JK? Now, lovelies, I tell you, this couple is toxic as hell. JK doesn't think twice about calling her the B word. And this is the man that she's leaving to see her kids. Oh, love, it doesn't make sense at all. Doesn't. My loves, that sums up the recap of Life After Lockup. What do you guys think? What do you think? My loves. I so far find this season very entertaining. I wonder why they didn't bring in Zorilla and her man yet. Okay. And I need to find out what was said on that phone call to Kiana. Something tell me they're not going to show that next week. So you got to hold your breath probably for 2 weeks. I'm just feeling that they're not going to show it, because the previews didn't look like they were going to show anything. But in the meantime, in between time, my loves, drop a line below. If you got some tea, drop it. We need to know, my loves. We need to know. And subscribe and like the video. Show the love, my loves. And I'm going to check you all out on the flip side.